everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. Alright, I thought I would come on real quick. I have a little bit of time where I'm not working outside. See, I got proof, I got war wounds. So yeah, I'm all beat up from the bushes, pulling stuff out from underneath of them, and I don't have enough sense to put a long sleeve shirt on. Anyhow, today it's raining, so I can't do anything outside. Yay! I wanted to come on, and this is something I've done before. I will link the video in the description box. This is like a paper stack. You could call it a sandwich stack, cake stack, but I've done these before. We've done them recently in our ladies group, and I wanted to come on and show how to decorate the front. Because I have several of them I would like to get done. So they're great for just popping in a journal, and I'll show you that in a minute so that you can just pop them in real quick on a page and look at all the writing space you get. It's so cool. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to bring in first my tabs. So I spent a little bit of time, and I sometimes do this when I have my scrap paper. I go through and then I just make tabs, all different kinds of tabs. But a couple things I wanted to show you was, this is my shape dies, my tab dies. Now, if you don't have a die cutting machine, I'm going to show you other ways. But this is my go-to. And I like this size and this size for the smaller books. For these ones. But this would work as well. I'm not a big heart person, but this would work well. But anyway, so that would be, let's see, this one. And I just make all different kinds. So I just go through and with all my scrap paper, never throw paper away, right? And there's that one. But I do a lot of the round ones. All right, so we have those. Then I was playing around and I'm like, all right, so what if people don't have this little die cut set? Because I didn't always have it. What I did was, if you take a piece of your paper and then you just fold it, cut it to kind of where you want it. Then I have, of course I can't find it now that I need it. Here it is. So I have a little template that I just went in and lined it up, snipped my edge, turned it, lined it up, snipped my edge, and then you have another little tab. Okay, so that's one way you don't really need anything but scissors, paper and scissors. Now, here's another one. It's a die cut. And basically what I do, I'm going to show you this one real quick. I already showed you that one. So see, there's several of this kind. This is like a whale tail punch, which is this. But again, it's not bad, but it's a little too big. For the back side, it probably wouldn't be, but I just like the smaller ones for that particular one. So that's the whale tail. And then for the circles, now I used this circle on this one. And what I did was, I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you on a bigger one. So let me just get a piece of scrap paper, as we probably all have scrap paper. And then I just folded it in half. Okay, just folded it in half. And then what I did was I threw a little bit of glue just in here, just down at the bottom. I'm not looking to cover the whole thing. I just want to keep that shut. Okay, so then I just glued the bottom. And then I took my scissors and then I just cut across that top. So now this is still open. You can glue here and then put that on to your book. And then you have a little tab. So see, there's ways of doing it without having all the fancy schmancy stuff. Then I was playing around. Well, I saw this and I'm like, oh, I had just had it in the box, in the scrap box. I'm like, well, same concept. Just glue here, just on the bottom, clip off your top, and then you have a tab this way where all your pretties are on the outside. You could do it this way if you want. It's still gonna look good, but I just thought it would be prettier with the pretties on the top. All right. Then I got this other new set, and I think I got it on Amazon. I was just looking for tab dies, and I got this set, and I thought, well, I'm gonna pull that out and see what I can do. And this is basically the same concept. What we're gonna do is we have these laid out like this. Get out of the way. Okay, and then we're gonna do basically the same thing. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue to the top here. And then once that's tacked down, I'm just gonna cut a little sliver off the top. And then again, I have this, and I can attach it to this. Cool, huh? Okay, so there's some ideas for tabs. So let's get that out of the way. We're done with that. Oh, better put my pin back in my glue. All right, so now I'm on to embellishing. I want to embellish like this one. Start putting some embellishments on top. So basically, you can do it right here, but I had already had some clusters. So I thought, well, we'll kill two birds with one stone. So these are little clusters, and I'm just gonna go through and decide where do I want that one. And I think I had a darker page I wanted that one on for the top. It wasn't that one, it was too busy. Was it that one? Anyway, it's here somewhere. Yeah, that one looks okay. No, that one looks better, actually. Okay, so anyway, this little cluster, I'll put that one there. And then we have this one, and I think this would go good here. Now, these were just in my stash, so I just started to go through and kind of decide, okay, where can some of this stuff go? Okay, that could go there. Let's see. I have this one. Then I had a couple of little things I had made a while ago, which this one would go on the correspondence one better. Maybe that would go there, but you kind of get the idea. But having these clusters ready to go so that you can do something like this is the key. And I am running out, so I thought it would be fun just to make some today and bring you along with me. So, oh, here was one more. Now, this is just made out of 2 different size circle punches. It's a little bit too big, too long. As long as I just glue it here to here, it's fine. But I would rather it be within its space. So I might make another one of these. So first of all, I'm just going to sort of have these clusters sitting in front of me, just so I can kind of have a visual of what I want to do. All right. So, all right, we're going to start looking through the scraps. And let's see, this one, I think we're going to start with this one. And I'm basically gonna just get them edges torn. I want it to be big because I want them to fit almost the length of the book too. And I'm not really concerned about, you know, perfection here, because it's not about perfection. It looks better the messier it looks, I think. All right, so there's a base. We'll start with that one. And then, do I want another one? Let's see, that's kind of narrow. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bigger piece. And that would look good on one of the bigger ones. So I'm going to make this one bigger than this one. Now, if you tear backwards, you don't get the white. If you tear forward, you're going to get the white, which I don't care because it's all going to be inked up. Okay, get that one out of the way. That looks pretty good. And let's see how that's going to look. I don't have any fingernails. I just cut them off, so I can't grab things. Let's see how good that would look. And I can always tweak it a little bit. I kind of like that. It still leaves me just a little bit of room to put something on the top. Okay, do that. This one's gonna go like this. All right, so we have our first 2 layers here. So we're gonna call that good for that one. And then let's see, on this one, I used a tag. So let's see if I can find, not a tag, a ticket. Let's see if I can find a ticket. I'll look through some of my stuff here. Those don't match. Oh, that would look good though. So you kind of get the idea. Just kind of go through your stuff, and yeah, I'm going to put that there. That'll look good. And then I'm going to go through my, this is another little doodad that I have that I keep all my little things in. There must be some good ones too, though. Would that be better? I don't know. Come on, get off there. That, and then maybe this. And I'm sure like you're visualizing something else. No, I don't like that. Because I know when I watch creators, I'm like, no, do that. No, don't do that one. Do this one of what I would do. But hey, that's what makes us all different creators. We all have different styles and different thoughts about how we would put these together, right? So, and that's not a bad thing. That's what makes us all a little bit different. So I think that's good for that, because then I'm going to try to find some sort of a word up here. A word or a phrase. Let's see. Aspire to inspire. That was not big enough. Need something a little more prominent. Oh, buy the ticket, take the ride. Buy the ticket and take the ride. There we go. We have a cluster. So I would go through and I would just do a bunch of these, and then I would set this aside, and then I would go through and do another one. But for time's sake, let me get this out of the way. I'll show you more at the end. We're going to go ahead and get this assembled. So first I want to ink, because I like to ink. Now, sometimes I know these would all go in a certain kind of journal. Sometimes if you're not ready to kind of assemble them because you might want to use a different ink according to the journal that you're using, because I use Smoky Slate a lot. It wouldn't really go with what this theme is, but you know, maybe the cluster I'm making is more pinks and grays, and I would want to ink in those colors. So maybe I wouldn't necessarily put them all or ink them all, but I might put them all together. Like I want this to be a cluster. I might put them all together and put a little paper clip and then set it aside. Then I can just pull that cluster out anytime I'm ready to go and decide on an ink color. But I do know that I want this vintage photo, which is mostly what we all use. But that's what I'm going to do. And then I usually think about five elements to each page, or each cluster. Those are inked, so that's good to go. Is pretty good. And I don't care that the words aren't going in any certain direction. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is, I think for this, I will just use my glue stick. I'm actually going to put a paper underneath here because I don't want glue on my stuff. Okay, let's see. Which way did that go? I'm notorious. That one, I don't care if it's going this way, but I'm notorious for putting things upside down, which is not a big deal. I can just turn it around. But, yeah, I've done that a lot lately. I don't know what that's all about, but... All right, so let's get this on here. That looks good enough. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue. Oh, these no fingernails. Come on. I can't pick anything up. So how did I have it? This was here. This was here. And then this is going to go on top. So I want to glue this one first. And that I'm going to use my art glitter glue for that. You can even put foam mounts on these too, because it's not, in fact, maybe I will put a foam mount on that one. It's not going to create too much bulk where you couldn't do that. So yeah, I think I'll put a foam mount on that one, but I'll glue the saying down. You don't have to glue sayings on. It could be a flower on the top or just something else, but I do like the little sayings. And then I'm going to go ahead and use these. And as I've mentioned before, these are foam mounts that I get from Dollar Tree in the automotive section. I don't buy them fancy ones. These work just fine. I've been using them for years, and I don't have any trouble. Okay, you gotta go. All right, and then I'm gonna throw that one there. Now we can even spruce this up a little bit more. Let me go grab my bling or sequins. See, on this one I use sequins. So let's see, I have one, two, three, four, five, about 6 elements on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, but I think I'm gonna throw some bling on there. Okay, so I'm gonna use these teal. And sometimes I like to go outside of the box of like what is kind of the color theme just for a pop. I just think it just is kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and probably put them in the 3s. But what I've learned to do, and if you have one of these, they're great. These are already a little bit sticky on the back, but I always like to put the art glitter glue down. But these are great for picking up your your beads or your gems. And when they sort of get not sticky anymore, and you can do this with an eraser too. If you get, I don't know if it works with any other glue, but I know I've used Tombow. And if you put glue on the end of your little sticky thing, and then, or your eraser, and you let that dry, then it'll give you this sticky surface that you can use to put your gems on. And these are sticky on the back. That's why it's not letting me pick it up. Or you can use one of these. If I can get it on there, which no, it's not going to do it. All right, let me do it this way. Because like I said, it's got sticky on it already, so it's going to give me a hard time today. All right, and there is another little cluster. That glue will dry clear. Isn't that cute? Okay, so after I went and got the phone, I got distracted, and now it's 2 days later. Anyhow, I did sit back down and kind of play with them. I got a lot of them done, but I thought I would do these ones here. So just to show you that you don't have to make the clusters, you can make the stuff right on it as well. So I have picked out each of my little tabs here, and I thought, first of all, I would go through and basically just show you how I line my tabs up. So I like to start at the top. So let's just go ahead and do this one. And the way I put tabs on, I know people put glue all over them, but I'm just not that good. So I have to kind of wiggle it around and line it up and kind of get it where I think it's straight. And hold that to me. And then I fold this back over, put some more glue on, and then fold it over. Okay. Then I put my bottom one on. So I don't want to put it on the same page, and I don't want to put it on the second page. I want to put it on the third page because my other one is going to go in the middle. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit on the bottom, and then I'm just going to kind of line that up where I think it looks good. Oh, hang on a second. There, that might help give a little bit more light. Then I do the other side. And sometimes when I have them all lined up the way you just saw it, then I'll just go through and I'll put all my tabs on, and then I go back. So this is page 1. This is page 2. So I want the next one here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Just on the bottom. And I like to make them all a little bit different. I just think it gives it a nice eclectic little look here. And it needs to go down just a little bit more. And then sometimes before I commit, I kind of see, do they kind of look like, you know, where I want them. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's definitely not meant to be perfect. And then finish it off. Okay. Then I have all my little tabs to open each sheet for my journaling. Okay, so let me move over to this one. I'll put my tabs on later. I'm going to move over to this one. So this one is just basically circles. I just cut out, let's see which ones. I used a 1 3/4 inch is the middle one. Then I used the 1 1/2, and then I used the 1 1/4. So I've basically just did a strip here, but this one I made a little bit more so it fits better on my book cover here. So that it's just as easy as that. And then I went and found a couple little embellishments. Like this is just the book page. These are just in my stash, all of the scrap paper. And so I just went and found some embellishments and I popped these up. And then I found a little word that says create. In fact, I'm going to get these little tools because this is what this is good for. So if I put this like that, then course, you can do it to your right hand and glue with your left, either way, but it works. And then I'm just gonna set that down, release it. There we go. And you could even make this a little pocket that's something stuffed in. You will have this as resistance, but you still could do it. And then all I'm gonna do is glue that straight down. I'm not gluing the little circles because I think it will give it sort of a 3D look if I just glue the band down. All right, then you have that. Then I'll get my tabs on that one, and then that'll be done. Now, back to this one. This one, I'm going to do straight onto the booklet. I'm not going to make a little cluster. So that's just as easy to do as well. I am using this little flower. Now, this came from a tea bag. So think about things that you can use. You can use coffee filters. You don't have to go buy all this stuff. This is a gauze bandage. You can pull that apart and use that as part of your little cluster here. You know, you could always put that here, which actually I think I like this better than the tea bag now. So I'm going to move that aside. But, you know, I use tea. I don't drink tea, but I use tea for dyeing paper. And so when you're done with the tea bags, I just get the little stuff out of them. And then you can just rip them all the way around. And then you end up with these little clustery parts. Well, you get the idea. My fingers won't open it, but you get the idea. Then I would have 2 little sheets. Come on. Anyway, then you get that. Okay, so think about things that you could use to make your little clusters. This came from a doily. I've had a bunch of these for a long time, and I just sat down and cut them out. So I think I'm gonna stack that. Where do I want that? Here. And then I'll do my flowers here. And remember, you don't want it coming over here because then you won't be able to open up your book. But then you have just a little cluster. Now these, the flower I got from Carolyn's Musings. I will link this particular kit from her Etsy shop down below, as well as all of her information. I get a lot of stuff from her. So yeah, this isn't just the one. There's a whole fussy cut file that has tons of these, and they work perfect for this stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my glue stick for this. I'm just going to put it on there willy-nilly so I can lay this down. And kind of pat it on there. Okay, and then I want this here, so I'm going to go ahead and use my art glitter glue for that, because this would be just way too hard to do with a glue stick. This is a little tedious, but it can be done. Okay, I'm going to lay that right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue. In fact, this I meant to do out of cardstock, and I ended up doing it out of, I just had my regular I think it's my 28-pound paper in there. But of course, I don't want to throw it all away. I could back it with cardstock and cut it. But I'm like, I'll just use them. The paper will do just fine. But I think I'm going to go ahead and use the glue stick on this too. Although the little parts down here are going to be a little more tricky because I don't want them breaking off. I can always go back and throw a little bit of art glitter glue up underneath of it if it's not sticking. Okay, so I'm going to throw that right there. Cool. And then, of course, I can put a little embellishment on the top. So I have a bunch of this stuff that I just keep around. All the little things. Yeah, I like that one. I like to put little inspirational things for people, especially if it's going to be in a journal. I know a lot of people sort of like, what do you do with journal? What do you do with them? What do you, sometimes a blank sheet of, you know, nothing is hard for people. They're like, I don't know what to write, especially if you're not a journaler, but you want to be a journaler. Then these are just little inspirations that, good grief. These are just little inspirations that helps you maybe bring up a memory or bring just something up that you wanted to journal about. You know, like, how was your day? What did you do today? What stood out to you? And then you have your little booklet. All right, so I have one more that I need to get the tabs on this one too. But this one is pretty much the same concept. I've used a few more elements here, so I'm going to use that little tea dye piece. Okay, I'm going to put that on there. I just wanted to show you some different elements that you can use that you may already have in your stash. Okay, then this came from, but I think I wanted to put this up underneath of it. Yeah, I think I wanted to do that. This was from one of my die cuts, so I'm going to go ahead and lay that down first. And again, I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. Got all of my big projects done. I have a few more little ones. So I finished that up yesterday, and I ended up running up to Home Depot and one other place to sort of start looking for some of my potted plants and flowers and stuff. I don't do too much because if you've heard me before, I don't like yard work. I like what it looks like when it's done, and I do enjoy it, but yeah, I'm sure I could pay somebody to do that for me. I don't like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not fun. But anyway, I do have a few more smaller projects now, just smaller things. Oh, I went and got some solar lights. I wasn't intending, but I happened to be looking for something else, and then I came across these really cute solar lights that I wanted to put around my one little area. I'll have to take pictures and maybe post them somewhere. But anyway, so this is just a little ticket. I have a die cut that is a ticket, and then this, I think it came from something that had like rulers on it, or yeah, it was like a ruler, and then I just popped out a circle. I just took my tiny circle punch and got that in there. Okay, then this one I think I'm going to pop up on foam. I was going to do that one, but I wanted to lay that down, and I can go this way. Okay, I'm going to get my little pokey tool here. You can buy these. This is my Cricut one that came with my Cricut, but you can buy these at Dollar Tree for $1.25. And if to use it for what I just used it for, it works just fine. And there we go. All right. So I am going to, well, actually, let's flip through. I'm going to finish those ones up. You see what they look like, and I'm going to finish those up later. So let's just go through the ones that I have done. So I think that was the first one I showed you. That was my original. And then right here are some more little embellishments that I have. This is actually done from my computer. I take pictures of things and then I put them in like a postage stamp. Anyway, that's for another video. But anyway, I get these little tiny ones. So I did that one. And then this was one of the already done clusters, and then I just added a little sentiment to the top. That was the one I showed you how to do. Then I had this cluster that was already made up and ready to go. And then there you have it. And then what do you do with those? So say this is my journal. I'm going to open this up. Maybe I'm going to put it on. It usually goes really well unless you make them the other. Well, I guess you could do either way. You could do it on this side. I suppose you could. I particularly like them on this side of the page. And then when I glue it down, I'm going to glue kind of close to the spine, but I'm only going to glue 3 spots so that this right here becomes a tuck spot. So you can then add a couple more tags or something to it. So anyway, I hope you found that helpful and fun, and go have some, go make some little sandwiches, little cake thingies, little, whatever you want to call them. But they're super fun and I love doing them. So thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.